Don't answer the door.
Okay, Red, that was great. Thank
You
you.
got it?
Yeah, that was great.
Cool.
You can stop speaking like that now, though.
What do you mean? This is how I always speak.
Hey guys, let's talk about the voiceover first. The voiceover which I have used for my King Kong shot. So how did I find it? So first of all, since the King Kong is a huge guy, so I wanted his voice to be tough enough. So I just went on YouTube and I was just searching for some tough voiceover artists, and then I came across with one of the Hollywood legendary voiceover artists, Red Pepper. I'm gonna put this link down below so you guys can check it out. So in his interview, he's been speaking many voiceovers. So I just cut out two clips of them, and then just put it together. So it was looking like this. Let me show you. So this was the part where I cut. These are the
Don't
two
answer the
clips.
door.
Okay, Red, that was great. Thank
You
you.
got it?
Yeah, that was great.
Cool.
You can stop speaking like that now, though.
What do you mean? This is how I always speak.
So the next challenge was the lip sync, because in his interview it's not clear. I mean, he's is sometime he's in his profile and sometime he's in front. For the first part where he says "Don't enter the door," so I got his lip sync reference from this part. But then I needed like more lip sync reference, more close lips movement to be studied. So I shot myself, and I have just shot myself to see the lip sync. And this is the first part where I'm just saying don't enter the door. So as an animator, you also need to shot yourself. If you don't have enough reference, you just put on your earphones and just mimic out the shot and see how your lips are moving. So this was my second references for the lip sync. And then for the camera, I actually took some references from the movie The Legend of the Tarzan. So if you see, this was much more close enough for the shot. So I wanted something like this, and I actually before starting the shot, I framed him something like this. So we'll talk about the Maya files, but these are the references which I took before starting the shot. And right, so for the pose references, you can find many pose references on YouTube or on Google. So this was the pose. I really liked it. So in this, I wanted to see how the body reacts when head turns, and how his moves his head, his feeling, what is feeling right now. So these kind of references you can get online. And this was the reference for his pose as well. So his initial pose, when he speaks don't enter the door, I just took this reference for his standing pose. So we'll talk about the Maya as well. So let's jump into the Maya. So I will go through all the Maya files which I have been working on. Then we'll discuss each and every file. I'm not gonna talk about each and every file. I have around 40 versions, but I'm just gonna talk about the few Maya files which have done major changes in those Maya files. So I think let's go with the 6 first, and let's see what we have in version 6. For version 6, I just focused on the first part of the dialogue where he says don't don't enter the door, right? So here's the Maya file. Oh, my time slider is off, and if you go here, so here's the first version where I have just worked on don't enter the door. This part, you can see there are no body movement. I've just
Don't
worked on
answer the door.
eyebrows,
Don't
some
answer the
nose movement I
door.
have added, but
Don't
those are not
answer the
final.
door.
But main intention
Don't
was
answer
to
the door.
get the lip sync
Don't
lip
answer the
shapes properly.
door.
So if you see, I think I have the controllers. This surfaces. So I have also used these shapes. If you see these nerves surfaces, small nerve spheres, I have used them to make some lip shapes. So if you see these, I have taken reference of red peppers in my viewport so that I can check each and every lip syncs or shapes in Maya.
Don't answer the door.
So I just focused on the first part of the dialogue, don't enter the door. And these
Don't
are very
answer the
basic keys
door.
for this
Don't
first part.
answer the door.
Now let's turn on, let's check it out, another version which I've done major changes in it. I think it was version 10. In version 10, I have given some basic body move. It's not, I have added some head movement here. So when he says don't enter the door, I just have given his head little bit up to show that intensity to his dialogue door and his anger. He just, the feeling behind this dialogue was, in my mind, was like he's hating someone. He just don't want someone to be enter for whom he doesn't like. So that was basic intention behind this particular dialogue, don't enter the door. And this was like this. So let's check it out, what kind of body movement I have done in this shot. Maybe it's here. Okay, so if you see, I'm also gonna turn on the nerve surfaces. Okay, and if this camera angle was changed later, but you can see the controllers I have used for facials, especially these nerve surfaces. And let's select, if you see the keys, some, so I have taken my lips reference as well as from the red peppers video. So in this version I have just added some head movements, subtle head movement, subtle body movement. And you can see when he says the door, the head goes a little bit up, eyebrows, some movement to his nose, like he's breathing out while speaking. So these kind of changes done in this version. Now let's move on to the another version, and we'll move on to the version 12, I guess. It's been a long time I have worked on this file, so I'm also forgotten what kind of changes I have done in these kind of versions. So I've just written it down in my notebook, what have changed I've done. So I'm just looking there and checking it out as well. All right, so we have uh version 12, exactly version 12 here. And in this part I think I have worked on second part, like the half where he just turns out. These are the basic keys for his body movement.
Yeah, that was great.
Let me play it for you guys.
Cool.
You can stop speaking like that now, though. Okay, Red, that was great. Thank you.
Got it?
Yeah, that was great.
Cool.
You can stop
So
speaking
I
like that
think
now, though.
here the basic lip movement was done, and I have taken this reference for his idol. When he's idle, when he looks and then he turns out to the right. So there was a dialogue from the director where he's saying something and he's just idle, standing like this. So for that I needed some some movement, some to show that he's just waiting or something like that. So I got this reference. Let me show you. If you see here, it like how the
Okay, Red, that was
monkey
great. Thank you.
moves their lips or do some small let me hide the polygon in perspective. And if you
Yeah, that was
see,
great.
Cool.
You can stop speaking like that now, though.
see
Okay,
this.
Red, that was
So
great.
this part I have used for here. If you see, I couldn't achieve that much detail because of lack of that much control on the Kong's rig. But somehow I try to achieve around 7 to 70%, I guess. And this is how it was like. So I think in this entire shot I have done the basic lip sync for the all part, and I was just working on this idle part. And then let's turn on the another version, which I guess I have written 14. I think in version 14 he just step forwards step forward to say like I always speak like that, something. And for this I shot myself
What do you
like
mean?
if I'm
This is
standing
how I
in
always
gorilla's
speak.
pose, and if I wanted to step
What
forward,
do you mean?
so I just
This is how
acted
I
out.
always
And
speak.
I've also searched some references,
What do you mean?
study some
This is how I
references, and
always
just acted
speak.
it out. And I
What do
just
you mean?
added basic
This is
keys
how I
here,
always speak.
so you can see it's very basic and basic poses,
What do you mean? This is how I always speak.
right?
What do you
And
mean? This is how I always speak.
there are no expressions on
What do you
his
mean?
face.
This is how I
I've just
always
added
speak.
one what do you mean. When he says what do you mean, the head nod, like he's asking with
What do you
some
mean?
attitude is
This is
there
how
in
I
his
always
body.
speak.
So
What do you mean? This is how I always
that's
speak.
all in this version. Let's move on to the another version. Yeah, so here's the version 16. Let me turn on it's everything, controllers, nerve surfaces, and yes. So the background image was just for time being, just to give the feel that he's in a jungle or somewhere. And
Don't answer the door.
now in this version
Don't
I have
answer the
added more
door.
details on the first part.
Don't answer the door.
Basically I have refined the
answer
first
the
part when he
door.
says don't enter the door.
Don't answer the door.
So I have added some eyebrows,
Answer the door.
like breathing, his
Don't
breathing.
answer the
So initial
door.
breathing for the
Don't
nose
answer the
movement,
door. Don't answer the door.
and also added some
Don't
movement to
answer
his
the
body as
door.
well. If you see here,
Don't
his
answer the
body is moving.
door. Don't answer the door.
So this was
Don't
for this
answer the-
part. Let's move on another part, which was 21st. So major changes have been done in 21st. Okay, yeah, so before 21st I actually wanted some, actually at this point the entire shot was done, and I wanted some feedback from my friend. As an animator you should be always ready for feedback. As much as feedback you can get, you can refine your shot as well. So that is very important. So for the feedback, since it was a lockdown, I had to talk with my friend online, and I used sync sketch for most of the reviews. So you can see here is first pass, second, and it goes up to fifth pass, right? So in first part, if you go here, let me show you what kind of changes I've done. And one of my friend who's also working like in VFX industry, and he's really good artist animator, especially VFX animation. His name is Deepak Verma, and I got really nice reviews from him. I've learned a lot of things from him time to time. So here's the first past when I submit. Like, so first of all there was some changes for the body posture, and if you see the composition wise, his was totally frontal, his face was totally frontal, so he asked me to make it 3/4, which I did later version. And some lip shapes, so basically he has given me some lip shapes corrections, like it should be proper O shape kind of thing. Then he also asked me to show some upper teeth here, and the lower teeth was too main. I mean, it's much more visible than upper teeth. So these kind of changes I got from my friend.
Stop speaking like that now, though.
What do you mean?
Especially most of the changes was about lip syncs. He also suggested at the last frame that he should not look at the camera, but I wanted him to look at the camera because I just wanted to show the attitude of the King Kong, that I always speaks like this. So that was pretty interesting for me. So that was my call. It was, I made the same version, but that was my call. So I, for till version 16, I took some review from my friend, so which I have just shown you. Let's move on to the another version, which is, I guess, 21st. So this was, I think I've addressed most of his notes in this version. So here's the version 21st. So in this, if you have seen, I have refined the shapes more clearly. Let's say this thing is more clear here. Oh, it's not visible. Let me everything is wrong. Sorry, expensive. Okay. Yes. So if you see, the shapes of his lips are much more smoother, or I can say more curvy shapes for his lips. That was my friends asked me to make for every shapes. And let me turn on the, oh, sorry, controllers as well. Okay. So if you see, the shapes have been improved a lot in this entire version, but there are still some body movement need to be refined, I guess, in this version. But yes, so I tried what my friend asked, that he should be looking this way. So I did that, but then eventually I like the version where he's facing to the camera, looking right into the camera, and just saying, I always speak like that. So that was about it. And then let's talk about the last version, which was the 30. And in this version, I have made almost all the changes from my friend. So if we go to the sync sketch, meanwhile, let me show you here. So there are many like, let's say, second pass, third pass. I guess let's talk about the third pass. Is it empty? Okay. So in third pass also, he has given me some notes for teeth. So he has asked me to, the teeth level should be a little bit up here, the head movement, some head rotation. He asked me that you should I should be, the nose shapes. If you see, body turning, yeah. So here, when head turns, there's always some movement to our body. So that's why he asked me to made some changes. And yeah, so I'm not gonna talk about, so basically it's all about refinement, details, small details, like when we when the body moves or head moves, what kind of body movement should be there, what kind of detail it should be there. So all notes was about that. And if you see, in this version, I have kept his face right into the camera, and he was okay about the same. So yeah. So this is about the third pass. Let's talk about the fifth pass as well. Let's say what I've done in this one. Since it's been a long time, I really don't remember what I've changed in most of the part. Oh, not this one. Yes. So most important thing in this pass. Let me in this pass was the head movement. So in this version, if you see, his head is moving, right? I mean, I have added some motion to give that liveness, like your head when you're close up shot, and if you have like facial performance shot, your body or your face shouldn't be, static. There should be always some movement, and that is some kind of secret. We can say it's a secret for making shot, making facial performance live. So if you see in this version, I think we haven't reviewed in this version, just a video. So but if you see the changes wise, in this version I have added many details on his body as well as head, which make him live. Like if you see the small subtle movement on his body when he turns his head, see the body, how the body is moving. So for this I had some references. Let me show you those. So let's say this one. So in this version it was just for the pose, but then we can see when he turns the head how the body is moving. So that was one a reference for me to study like how the body moves. So when he moves his body, there is some subtle movement to his shoulder, and his the rib cage is moving, so there should be some movement we need to show. So that was about it. And another reference was, uh, let me show you here. So let me make it little big. Something is okay. So if you see, he's turning his head here, and it is a sudden head turn, which I wanted in my shot as well. So if you see here, when he turns his head, his shoulder is going down, and then head body is also moving little bit to the left side of the screen, and then his head goes. So basically when you are doing some subtle movements, there's always something is moving. It's not like completely static. You have to show some motion to your body and your head. Even if you're looking at one direction, your head still moves on some extent, like very subtle, very minor, in all axes, whether it's y x z, but it moves very very tiny, in tiny amount. So these kind of things are important while you're doing facial performance or body performance, especially for the close-up shots. All right, one important thing, I also tried to give some fur to the King Kong, and how weird he was looking here, you can see. So I spent like 2 to 3 days to learn how Maya XGen works, and I somehow achieved it, but I was not satisfied with it. So for the fur part, my friends have really helped me, who's also working for the same industry, but they have it was done in Blender actually, and I was really happy when he showed me the first pass with fur. Yeah, and that's how it made it realistic. So thanks guys for watching. I hope you will learn, I mean you have learned something out of this video, and I'm gonna make these kind of videos in future as well, so stay tuned. Please subscribe my channel and like my videos and share with your friends and families who are really interested in VFX and animation. Thank you, bye.